Hey, one and all, welcome back to Tim's Vape Lounge. You can see, still not hung trim. Let's do a vlog. Let's do this vlog for like the 7th time. Tried recording this a bunch of times the other day, and I got down to editing, and I said a couple of things that I ended up not expressing well, and that, depending on how you interpreted what I said, were disagreeable even to myself. So I should probably remedy that. Luckily, I'm a filthy pig of a human being. I didn't throw out my notes, so we can go over that. But first, I'd like to crack this open with a bit of a past tense juice review. Let's talk about a few juices that I've now killed. Sorry, I just assembled a new lighting rig. I bought a rolling garment rack from the dollar store to hold a couple of clamp lights rather than trying to have tripod upon tripod upon tripod in here. Because why should I do it right when I could just spend $10 and half-ass it? So, I've not had my after-dinner vape. Boy, that stuff is good. That's, just in case you're curious, it's vented by Alloy's Electrum line. And no, that's not that's just the dropper I have laying around, because this is the actual can. Little flask deal. And I guess they're not going to be doing the flasks anymore, which is why I told my good man in the vape shop that I will be having that one, please, because I think it's pretty slick, aside from the fact the bottom's not square, and it does wobble a little bit, but it fits right in this janky-ass old house. So anyways, juices we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some by... Oh, don't you... Some by... wow, that's... There we go. ITC Vapes. I have to do something about that. I had Mach 10 Gold RY4 and Spoon Liquor version 2. The big-ass bottle you saw was Spoon Liquor version 2. I went through 120 milliliters of it. And it's pretty delightful. It's strawberry and cake batter. Strawberries moderately pronounced in it. Yeah, that was right. And you can, by adjusting your power and your build a little bit, you can get anything from like cake batter with a hint of strawberry up through what cake batter. All I get is screaming and screeching strawberries. So I really like that. But when you have a good build in an Addy, you'll notice that you get 60% strawberries, 40% cake batter. It's pretty damn nice. It's really pleasant. I quite enjoyed it. All of those were ordered in Max VG, and I'll get it out of the way now. Every juice I'm going to talk about today, unless I otherwise state I would purchase again. Next up, we'll talk about Mach 10, which might be the best coffee flavor, like, ever. It's really good. It's almost latte-ish in how kind of creamy it comes across, at least in the builds that I used it in. But it's a good espresso, cream, vanilla, and caramel. It's so good. And I found it was better fresh out of the box than after it steeped a while. I mean, it's not like it got bad after it steeped, but the proportions seemed to be best, just straight out of the mailbox and given a good shake. After that, we got Gold RY4, which is a little more dessert vape than an actual RY4. It does have a nice Turkish tobacco blend in it, but that's really playing second fiddle to the creamy caramel and vanilla that's in it. It's a really nice vape. If you want to get yourself into tobacco vapes because you're just kind of afraid of tobacco vapes, that'd be a good way to go. It's very, very good. So then we have some GNS Vapor. Wife and I are both quite partial to Beetlejuice. Here's an empty 50 of Beetlejuice, and I've used about a quarter out of another 50 ml of Beetlejuice. Here's my nearly empty bottle of Fruit Loops, which I really like that. No cream in that, but it's really, really good. And I got some Sir Charles. Sir Charles over the weekend. I can't find flavor notes for it online, but I get peach and awesome. It's really, really good. It's really, really good. That is actually what's in my limo. Boy, that is good. There might be a hint of cherry in there. I'm not entirely certain. It is super, super good. Oh, and Dead Worm. I have an empty 15 ml bottle on my desk somewhere of Dead Worm, which is a gummy bear flavor, which is quite good. It's more the lighter colored gummy bears, but it's certainly not bad. And if it's way too sweet for you, turn your power down, or if you're on a mech, just don't bother vaping it until your battery's almost ready to be pulled. Or just wrap. Put an extra wrap on your coil. See, and Vapor Trail. Creamsicle. I got another bottle of Creamsicle. I obviously didn't prepare at all for this. But it looks like a Vapor Trail bottle. Pretend it's this bottle, except empty. I got it when I was back in December when I first started. I got it and it was so, so good. But it was an 18 that I outran my nick reduction with it, so I actually still have I still have some in a Jenny tank. It's 18 mil. I should probably get rid of that because that's gotten really brown. It's actually, a golden kind of color when it's new. But it is good. It's a nice orange, tangerine, and cream kind of vape. It's if it had some culotta in it, I'm pretty certain it would be a dead ringer for just chomping into it. Orange ice cream bar. I had a whole big chunk on some of the shit that went down, sort of amongst other reviewers. And here I go again, beating around it. The shit that went down between Rip and Twisted. Ain't none of my business. Twisted has said another piece about it. Rip has had his response. Whatever. You're going to think about those individuals, what you think about them. I think Rip has put a good number of videos out there that legitimately help people, because when I was sitting here with a T3S going, I can't wait to get a dripper, I was watching some of Rip's coil tutorials, just because they come up pretty high up on the list when you put in, how to build a microcoil. Outside of that, I suppose I don't have much else nice to say. It's not that I dislike the guy. I'd love to have a beer with him, but I think his persona is not one that I'd have chosen to use, and it seems a little bit too over the top for me. But I think he does, when he's presenting a tutorial, I think he does a very good job. Outside of that, I did make some notes, some points that I never got around to making in the other 6 versions of this vlog that I shot. And some of those 6 versions, well, actually the first 5 were technical problems that I was having. It seems like I've not been able to stop fighting my computer for the last month or so, but that's okay. That happens. We have stretches like that. But just, I kind of rant and go without my notes and then regret it later. So what I do want to say is, as a reviewer, I suppose you must decide what your role is going to be in your presentation of information. And I wouldn't go so far as to call it an agenda. I don't think that's fair. I don't think anybody thinks it through that much. Maybe a couple of guys. But are you coming at it from a point of view where you want to present it in a journalistic style? Do you want to just report truth as you see it? Or do you feel like you should be part of the marketing arm of a firm, whether that be a modder or a big multinational corporation? What do you guys think? Let me know. I'm really I'm still intrigued with this idea of what does a YouTube reviewer, vape reviewer slash vape personality, what's their role? Do you think certainly I can't be the only person to have ever thought about this, but I know I tend to be a little weird. It's easier to navigate the signal to noise ratio if you can figure out where the reviewer you're viewing is coming from, because it's not exactly well defined. I think everybody that does this type of thing does it out of a love for vaping, whether it be the hobby aspect of it or the I don't have to spend as much money aspect, or the helping people stop slowly killing themselves aspect of it by getting people to quit smoking. I missed making videos. I used to make wet shaving videos. I'd stand in my bathroom and talk at a bunch of dudes in a Facebook group. Just kind of vlog type things. Here's what's going on in my life. And I stopped doing that, and I kind of missed making videos. I miss editing, even though I don't do that much of it. I do miss the process of shaping the video into what I wanted it to be. With shaving, I tend to not to do anything except speed up the boring parts where I'm not talking and you just see me shaving 3 times. But I also, because I saw the same 15, 20, well, hell, it's probably more than that. I have 70 people I subscribe to on this account. The same names popping up over and over again. The bigger reviewers, I guess you would say, or the bigger personalities. You see them all pop up, and when I started this channel, one, it was a way to separate my subscriptions, because I have 75, 80 subscriptions on my personal YouTube account. And it became really, really hard to sort through everything. And I know they have collections and shit. It's just easier for me to do it with 2 different accounts. So I started the channel, or this account, I should say, as a way to manage my online content. Because I do watch an awful lot of YouTube videos. I read an awful lot of discourse on the internet. Whether you're looking at straight up non-fiction-y, really true stuff, you know, some college material and some stuff out of a wiki that's, you know, trust but verified. So I decided that after I made the account, I said, well, why don't I just start making videos again? I'm kind of new. This could be interesting for people to watch somebody progress through vaping, and perhaps that would give insight to other newbies. And I thought perhaps I could do it from a point of view of a guy who doesn't have a ton of money, but still wants to get the best damn vape that he can while figuring out what the best damn vape that he can is. Because when I set this up, I was still using an Nautilus Mini on almost a daily basis. Now I'm using a Little Boy clone and a Sick Green parallel ABS box, or Sigelli and a Limo. That's a damn good vape. Or a Derringer clone and a Nemesis clone. I feel a bit hoary right now. That wouldn't exactly be my choice. My choice of drip tip, but the fun thing about the Derringer is the way that the positive post screw sits in there. That's where your drip tip sits. So I went with this cherry style drip tip to give me decent airflow. Otherwise, I'd really like something much, much, much shorter on it. Boy, is this little thing vape good. Vape well. So that's kind of that. I decided I just want to share information that I have, whether it's what I think about a certain atomizer or a certain mod or juices that I pay for out of pocket. Well, actually, I paid for everything here. Um, I don't know. I don't know why I do this. I'd like to develop a community, but I'm kind of fickle. If I get bored with this, I'll just pull chocks and leave. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. I've just started DIYing. I watched one too many of Fresh's videos and said, pardon me, I said that is entirely too simple not to try. So I bought a bunch of glycerin at Walmart and vaped that for a little bit to see how I'd get on with zero nick. And the answer's okay. I can't do it all the time, but when I really just feel like chain vaping for no reason other than boredom, I've been using zero nick because I don't need to get nick sick from it. And I stopped at Michael's and bought a bunch of flavors, and I made up a batch of watermelon apple, 30 ml batch. I made a 5 ml test batch first, and it was good enough that I decided to just go ahead and make that. And it's not great. If I tasted it in the store, I wouldn't buy it, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not really my flavor profile. But I live in a small area. Michael's has what Michael's has, and that's it. And I was out shopping and said, well, I can make this happen. I can make this work. It's a candy, almost green apple and candy watermelon flavor. Not horrible. I need to look and see how I can make this sour, because if I made this sour, I think it'd be really freaking awesome, actually. I don't know if I could just drop citric acid in this or not. I have to read up on that. So, that's that. Fresh, thank you so much for making it look so darned easy. I will be putting together an e-cig express order very soon. I just basically have to bookmark a bunch of recipes on e-liquid recipes and then make a shopping list. Or I could do that in the e-juice calculator I downloaded. Martin Parker is a British guy. He's a British bloke. He's from Peterborough. He's a cool dude. He's got a really good channel, and I just like. He just seems like a guy I'd like to have a pint with. I think he's a presenter on Shopping Channel over there. He's made mention of it in numerous videos, and he is awful comfortable with the camera, and he does present his videos and his information very well. He doesn't and nearly as much as some people do, and that's okay. See, it's unconscious. I don't even know I'm doing it. But he, in one of his latest vlogs, he was discussing, or he went on a bit of a rant about people linking other vendors than the vendor that is mentioned in the description of the video as being the vendor who supplied the equipment or the piece being reviewed. And he had a really, really good point that I completely overlooked at first, because he was mentioning, I keyed in on a sentence he mentioned about not mentioning price in a review. And that was about the time that I watched Grimm's review on the Provari P3, and there was a bit of kerfuffle in the comments section about the price and Vape Budget Hands being kind of a wishy-washy way of not actually coming out and saying that something costs too damn much. And I thought about this quite a bit, and I had a rather lengthy comment that I typed out in Martin's direction, and kind of was asking him about this, and then he He was very polite. I wasn't being douchey. I was trying not to. I may come off pretentious, but I don't mean to. And he was very polite in his reply and said, those are some good points, but my point was about, sniping, sending somebody somewhere cheaper or bitching about the shipping from a vendor that supplied a part for review. And I went, oh, you're right, I'm sorry. But it was still really good food for thought. What is the responsibility of the reviewer? Because we are sort of the public face of vaping, and I don't mean to invite myself to the secret lunch or anything. But who's got the responsibility to keep the market in check? Because if people, how is Joytech going to know the difference between the Evic Supreme not selling well? How are they going to know that that's because of price? Or if it's because it's a product that doesn't really have enough merit on its own to be sold at any price. I think that being kind of the public ambassadors of vaping, I think some of that responsibility directly falls there. And I think the other part might fall on distributors and shop owners. Whoever's got that direct contact to the manufacturer, in this case, like I mentioned, Joytech. I think the Evic Supreme is overpriced for what it is. It certainly seems like a nice device, but I damn sure wouldn't spend the money on it. This is my speed. This was like $50, and it's got a no-kidding mechanical switch, and it takes 2 batteries in parallel. It's what I was looking for. I wanted to be able to run under 0.2 and feel okay about it. Mission accomplished. This is like a 0.14. And boy, is it a good 0.14. It's not warm at all. I have the airflow closed off a little bit. It's I don't know if I'd be able to get lighting in here. It's a big old parallel 24 gauge build. Maybe. I'll have to say some words to our sweet lady of autofocus. Nothing super fancy or even super good. I haven't made that many parallel builds, but it came out okay, and it vapes really, really well. And boy, it boogies on here. The shop was at a 22 gauge, which is what I wanted to buy, but I understand that. Things happen. They're a new shop, and they don't have a whole ton of operating capital yet. A surprisingly good flavor out of this thing, which is crazy for how airy it is and how much vapor it produces. Anyway, that's beside the point. So, yeah, whose responsibility is it? I think a bit of it is ours to say, you're out of your flipping minds. This thing costs too much. I can respect the notion of a K-Fun being $100. Absolutely. Much north of $100, and you start losing my attention very, very quickly. Regulated mods are kind of an exception to that rule. I think, somewhere in the buck a watt range, and I'm pretty happy. However, I realize that there's also a place in the market for nice, handcrafted, artistic kind of things. Your Waparis and Zero mods. Oh shit, that guy he's out in California. Shaza did a review on one of them. It was a stabilized wood box. It was beautiful. Anyway, all of those kind of bespoke mods, I understand the price structure, and I'm not going to bitch at that because I know that there is a guy who goes out to a shed after he has dinner every night and who makes one mod at a time. those things aren't playing the same kind of commercial go into most vape shops and find it kind of game. I'm talking about your Sigelis, your Pioneer for You stuff, your Joytech stuff, smoke, whether it works or not. And I do think that there is a responsibility there to go, this is a nice piece, it's made really well, but it costs too much. When you look at its current position in the market, it's competing with this and this and this, and I think it costs too much. Computer hardware sites do this all the time. When they're talking about, you're comparing solid state drives or video cards or RAM or motherboards, they'll come out and say that something costs too much, or that it's not positioned right in the market and it doesn't seem like it will sell, which is a very nice way of saying you priced it too high. You can say that without being an asshole. It is possible. So maybe that's something that needs to happen more often, is to say, I don't really see a lot of success given its suggested retail price, because you've got this and this. And that may seem hard to do when it's provided by that manufacturer, but maybe if a couple of people say that and the manufacturer thinks on it and goes, yeah, we should knock 20 bucks off of this thing, then all of a sudden they went from, we were only going to move 1,000 of these a year, into the neighborhood of, we're going to sell, 10,000 of these a month. Look how hard it is to get a Limo drop. How long have they been out? October? November? Or even a black Limo. I paid too much for this thing, but I wanted the black one. It was in stock. I bought it. It wasn't that. It was like $5 too much, which I'm willing to pay in a B&M, especially a new store run by awesome people. That sound means I didn't fill my drink before I started shooting. So yeah, that's kind of that. I had in here about a big rant about Logitech and Microsoft with Windows 10. I will go so far as to say, Microsoft, you're doing a really nice job with Windows 10, and I never thought I would utter a positive sentence in your direction. Because after the awesomeness that was Windows 7 came out, then we got something else. We got another product that did not appeal to very many people at all. Although I've often defended your position of the touchscreen interface. I think that would be nice, but not enough people have touchscreen shit. A little bit too soon. But Windows 10 is going to be pretty nice. It's pretty awesome as it sits. It's really, really good with its resource management. It's really, really fast, and you don't have to deal with that full screen tile nonsense. It's a pretty nice place to work. The unfortunate thing is Logitech webcam software doesn't work in it anymore. Anything newer than build 9926 and you're just SOL. It happens. It's all beta software, and I understand. I'm not going to cry about it. I still have it installed. I just had to put on an old copy of Windows 7 because in Linux I'm having problems with libmlt and AV sync. So since I can't get my audios and my videos to be on the same timeline no matter what I try, which is just an experience gap on my part, I've given up on it for the time being. I still work in Linux on a day-to-day basis, but when it's time to make a video, I kind of have to boot into Windows. So what did I get while I was at the store? Well, I've covered that somewhat. I bought a black full-size Limo, which has Limos have the worst stock drip tip ever. I'm sorry. This is huge. It is ugly. It makes an already tall device even taller. I mean, how fucking stupid does that look? It looks ridiculous. So today I've been tailpiping it because I've had the actual drip tip I use on it most of the time on my Derringer clone. I just gotta buy a bunch of these drip tips. But I bought that. I bought this Derringer clone, which I really like. I think I might have to buy a real Derringer. This is quality vape. This is somewhere in the neighborhood of 0.3. It's a 6.5 wrap of 24 gauge on a 330 seconds. It's a really good vape for just a tiny, teensy tiny little guy. You've all seen the comparison pictures of a penny next to a Derringer. It's a tiny little addy, and it vapes really well. The flavor is immense off of this thing. My dog can wait to go out, and this is going to need re-dripped. So I got that. We'll have reviews coming on all of this stuff. The little boy I already talked a bit about. This thing is just surprising to me. I wanted something with a big build deck that I could get kind of stupid on. They didn't have a Mutation X, but I've watched a couple of reviews of this and said, I'll try it. I really like the engraving, so I'll have that. And I wanted the drip top. I think they're pretty awesome. I think his batteries need changed, and that needs more juice. Somehow, about a drop and a half worth of juice on the outside of that. I don't suppose I'll be buying any of those containers again, although it'll look pretty bitchin' on a shelf when it's empty. That's better. Frankie, you can wait. I'm almost done. You can wait, bud. So yeah, and this sick green ABS box. Don't kill it too much, Tim. I really like this thing. It's not straight mechanical, but you can see that this switch is mechanical. And it seems to be wired backwards, which I don't think I mind, because I don't think my atomizer is going to care what's positive and what's negative. There's just two posts, and may they not touch. But I've got a set of Samsung 25Rs in here. Whoever's labeling them is doing a bad job, because Samsung's are INR batteries, not IMR. But I did look at the numbers under this wrap, and they check out compared to my other Sammys. They otherwise seem exactly like them. Boy, that juice is good. I picked up some of that Electrum. I bought Sir Charles. My dad went with me. I took my dad to a vape shop. Boy, that was fun. He was like a kid in a candy store, because up to this point, his experience at the vape shop is he tried a bunch of my juices and walked into one of them and said, I would like this and this in this next strength. Hands them money and walks out. But he had tried my Tug V2 clone and made a remark about how satisfying it was, how satisfying of a vape it was, how nice it was to not have to try and inhale through the back of your neck to get a drag off of like a T3S. So I said, well, let's go to the vape shop. You just got your taxes back, right, Dad? Yeah. Well, how much are you gonna have me spend? Don't worry, Dad. We'll keep it simple. So we got him an iStick 30 and a Sub-Tank Mini and a couple of juices. And boy, is he in heaven. I need to get up to his place and build the RBA section for him. And I think I'm going to give him my non-modded Aqua V2, which would be this one. That seems to be... Not all of these holes are wallered out. There we go. A little bit of wood. It's in dripper mode right now, but the tank's laying over there. I think I'm gonna build that for him and take it up. I think he'd really like that. I don't know if anybody watching this is gonna know what tea berry is. Tea berry is kind of a northeastern thing, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York State, and it's a berry that grows. And I'm most familiar with it from ice cream, although you can, or at least you used to be able to get tea berry chewing gum, and it's an interesting taste. It tastes like candy pink. I don't know if that's because of association with everything tea berry being pink, but it's really, really good. I think they grow in England too. I wikied it one night while I was walking down to the pub when I still lived in England. But he bought like a tea berry milkshake juice. And it's freaking fantastic. I didn't shop very much for juice like I should have. I dripped a bunch, but I didn't just go up to where the testers were and look through their juice menu and stuff. The shop I went to has a shit ton of juices to try, and they are called. Oh dear. Oh, there we go. Wicked Sticks. Vape shop in the lounge. They're located in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Really nice shop. But he's happy. And he got another one called Rings of Saturn, which is like sour Fruit Loops, which I haven't tried yet, but I really want to. That's another good reason to go up to Dad's house. I just love the Lima. And I also, I still have tons of love for my sub-tank. And the last few days, it's pretty much been these two things. Vented is a vanilla tobacco juice. It's really, really good. So that should do it. Please talk to me down in the comments section. You can email me, timsvapelounge@gmail.com. Do something on Google+. If you're going to do that, let me know, because I'm kind of a Google+ idiot. I don't know how to use it, and I've never really tried either. And I'm trying not to Facebook. I don't. Yeah, I'm not a Facebook kind of dude. So, that does that. Please join CASA.org. Their calls to action are important, and will get results. One of my representatives' assistants called me regarding a letter CASA helped me type up and send their way, and I talked with them for a good 15 minutes while I was in the grocery store shopping for groceries. I talked to this congressman's aide, and it was really, really nice. I felt like something good came of it, and I've emailed them since and followed up on a couple of things we talked about. You can have an impact, believe it or not. Even if we lose, at least you tried. So there's that, and yeah, as always, thank you for not smoking. Frankie, really, dude, calm down. His middle name's Chewbacca. You should take him on a car ride sometime. It's just however long your ride is, and him going, it's silly. Yeah, so thanks for not smoking. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.